Hello, how are you doing? It's been a while since we've talked. I lately have had something pretty heavy on my mind a lot lately. I've been hearing a lot of stories about people not accepting certain people in their spiritual affiliation, spiritual centers, churches, and things like that. And it really is upsetting to me to hear that churches and centers would disqualify certain people that are coming to their church to check out. Maybe they want to come there. Maybe they would like to be members. Maybe they just want to visit. They're not sure about it. But our churches and our places of worship and centers should be places that it's a hospital. We all have issues of some sort. If you're going around saying that you don't have any issues or you never had any, I'm going to say you're probably not truthful. Because at some point, all of us go through challenges and issues and dilemmas. And you are going to this place and it has, if you're a member there or you go regularly, obviously it's providing something. It is feeding you, as people would say, feeding your spirit. And then why would you go around and disqualify somebody and say that this person can't come because they're this, or they did this before, or whatever it is, they're like this, or they don't believe everything that we believe and stuff. You're not going to always meet somebody that is totally on board with everything that you're on board with. And that's okay. It's okay, because we are all made different. We all have different likes and opinions and stuff. And that's what makes life so much richer, when we identify as who we are and what's in our heart. And it's not for you to go and say, well, you're reacting to that wrong, or I don't agree with that, so now you can't come. This is not your personal house. The church or spiritual center is for the community. It's not just for the person, well, I'm the minister or I'm the speaker there or whatever, and now I decide that this person can't come or these people are not welcome here. If they're not coming there to bring any violence or harm to anybody in that kind of way, you should not be telling them that they cannot come just because you don't like them or they're not on the same page. Because now the church and the centers, when you put it like that, it sounds like some kind of trendy little group that we had in high school where we omitted certain people because they weren't like us. And if you are watching this and you're feeling some kind of way about me saying that, that's fine, because it's my opinion. I'm not changing my opinion because that's what I feel passionate about. But you might want to ask yourself a question: why do I feel that I could omit people from our church, or that's okay? Because any conversation that you would come up with, or determining factors that you would come up on why you're doing that, I don't think it amounts to a hill of beans. But if you have something to say why you feel passionate about it, or why you think that certain people should be omitted or something, go ahead and drop a comment. I would like to hear what you have to say. I'm open to hear what you like to say, whether I believe the same or not. Because, see, that's how we get intellect, when we have interesting, intelligent conversation, debates that don't lead to violence, and if you just say, oh, I don't like to deal with controversy. Well, most people don't. But some conversations need to be had, and that's how we expand our knowledge, our wisdom, why that person feels that way, why they have held that with them, or whatever. And what you have to say might open a door for them, or you might get a door open for you, where you have a greater understanding on why they are the way they are. That could lead to helping others and understanding others. And that's what we need to do. If we're to come together, if you're walking in some kind of spirituality, then your love should be at the center. Compassion should be at the center, But you're not bringing that love and joy. Like, an example is, like, we have churches, they go to church Sunday, Wednesday. They might have other service and events and stuff. They're always at the service and events, and they are so happy and they're so full of life and they're joyful and this and that. And then you go out on the street and somebody says something to you or got too close to you and you're mean as rattlesnakes. You should watch out for your be aware when you're out. You should have awareness, but not just outside, even in church. You have to be aware of wherever you go. But if you turn your nose up and then say, oh, I don't like that person, and it's just evil, because they're not like you. They don't look like you. They don't act like you. They don't think the way you think. And now it's like this disgust for them. Somebody might have an opinion that is hurting us because of the decisions that they're making, and we can express that to them, but to take it all the way down to hate is going too far. Why don't you pray for that person if you feel that what you're thinking or what you're feeling is better or the more right way to do it or to handle it? Pray about it. Maybe you could have a conversation. Why do you feel that way? Because I feel like this is hurting us when we do this or we do that. Intelligent conversation. But some of you are afraid to have conversations with people because you're like, I just don't want to deal with that. I feel this way and I don't care what they think about it. I don't feel like I have to defend myself. But you know what? You should have a conversation. You shouldn't be on such a level that you're so tense that you can't be who you are and act as you are because of fear. Because God created us, each individual. And there's a certain reason and purpose, and we might not ever know that reason or purpose till we go to the other side. But like there's these things that are in you. They've been in you from the beginning, and you're like that. This is something that God put in you to be that way. Everybody cannot be the same, react the same, and act the same. And it's a beautiful thing that we all have different expressions. But now you're going to omit somebody because they're not wearing the clothes that you think you should have. They're not wearing their Sunday best, or we dress like this here. Or maybe it's like we go to a more casual church and this person comes in their Sunday best all dressed to the nine, and we're like, they don't fit in because we don't dress like that. Who are you to say these things and to keep somebody out because of that? Somebody comes, we're like, I was raised up Catholic, now they're coming to a Christian church, and you say, well, you shouldn't come here because we're this and we're that. They came there for a reason. Maybe they need to hear. Maybe they're thinking differently about some things. Maybe they come to think. Maybe they're even come from, let me even go even further. Maybe they come from a Jewish community and now they're crossing over and they're coming to your church or your spiritual center, and you're like, well, we're not really with that over here. So you shouldn't come here. We just think that you should find somewhere else to go. That is so rude. I'm sorry. That is so janky. And then you're saying you're selling love. You're selling compassion. You're saying I'm working with the divine. Would the divine do that? The divine didn't keep out drunks, druggies, people that had drug problems, prostitutes. He didn't tell them they couldn't come. He didn't say that you're not allowed to get here. He didn't say that, oh, I'm so great that y'all can't step to me. He was down there talking to them, and he was showing compassion to them, and he was giving his time and his ear, and he did services, and he did healings and stuff. And now you're sitting on this high horse. I'm a healer, but I can't help this person because they just like in a situation. Well, why are you here? Or why are you doing this work if you won't help certain people? You're only going to help people on a certain status, or they have a certain look. That person might even be in a situation they don't smell as fresh. You don't know what their situation, why they're not smelling fresh or as clean. Do they have a place to live? Are they living from house to house? Or are they living out of their car? And you're putting judgment on this person, and they're coming here for help, saying, I need the spiritual connection. I'm coming here because I'm feeling led here. You don't know that they weren't directed to come there. They came there for some reason. And you're worried about them. You're worried about their past. Now, I do understand when people come in and they have children programs, they might want to do a background check or something like that because they said we have to be careful and we have to watch over our children. That's fine. But telling somebody they can't come to the church, they're excluded because who they are or how their past was, or they have a couple of things that they question you about and say, I don't know if I believe that too. I feel this way. And then you immediately say, whoo, we got to get them out of here. We got to get Dan out of here. We got to get Summer out of here because, they said this to me, and then it's a gossip. You're telling somebody else and you're gossiping about it. And to my healers and my eclectic people and my spiritual community, those ones that are intuitive and psychic and your mediums and things like that, we are always have been dealing with some kind of discrimination where people have been coming up against us. That's not holy. That's not godly. That's wrong, it's evil and stuff. And then we have Hollywood subscribing on. We have Hollywood coming on and making movies about people that have gifts and callings on their life, and they make it evil. They want to make it demonic. They want to make it scary. Put it in a horror movie and stuff. And that's misrepresenting and having a prejudice towards those people. But the question you need to ask yourself, how did these people get these gifts and callings? When they've been born with that sixth sense, when they've been born with that intuitive nature, when they've been able to see the people from the other side. And some of you are so judgy and have this kind of attitude, you'll secretly go see a medium because you want to see a medium, but you won't want anybody else to know about it or know who you are or know if you go to a church or anything like that, but you need the help, so you will reach out for it. I need to come and get a healing because I've been going to my church and I'm going through this situation and they're kind of not addressing the issues that I'm having. I don't have anybody to talk to about this thing, so I'm coming to you, but I don't want anybody to know I'm coming here. Let's get real in 2025. Let's get real with who we are and how we are and be proud of who we are and what we have. I know my gifts are God-given gifts because I had them from a child, a very young child. I was able to tell that there was a connection there. And I had the help of spirit back then. And then for somebody to come in and say, well, that's evil and that's demonic and you shouldn't do that. But then you'll have a church that has gifts and callings, and they say, well, we got prophets and we have faith healers. So now your prophets and faith healers are different than the intuitive, the psychic, and the healers? Not really. It might be different how you approach the situation or how you're doing your healing, but it's the same thing as a gift of healing. That gift of prophecy is the same thing as somebody who has intuition. And connecting in spirit is channeling that information to them. It's not different. So you may think it's different, and then you have been calling people out and making people feel bad and excluded in a certain way, and they want to come and they could be help to your community and to your church. But no, we can't have that here because we don't believe in that and we don't think that's right. So we're not letting people in. Where did you get that from? Was it your mama, your sister, your brother, your daddy, your preacher before? And then we have preachers misreading stuff and saying stuff to people out of context, and their members following them and following them as they're leading them because they believe that's what they should do. But if you're a Bible believer and you're reading the Bible and you're in that kind of church, then it says, study yourself approved. So you need to study. You need to learn how to hear from God yourself. You need to learn how to put yourself in that mannerism or that place and mature, that you're not still a baby and that you're ready to eat some real meat and understand about the way this life is and what your purpose is here, because we all have purpose here. somebody that we might despise or look down on because we're being judgmental, and we say, well, what purpose do they have here? They just they always getting in trouble and they can't get it together. They causing problems and stuff like that. That person might even be a thief. They might have a drug problem. They might have a drinking problem, but it makes you feel a certain kind of way, and it brings stuff up. If you would allow it, when the things are brought up and you feel a certain way, if you would allow to go in and dissect those things and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way about that? But we don't go to step 2. We go to panic. We go to exclusion. We go to moving away or running from it or turning away or not accepting that it's so, or that it had us feel a certain way, or let's just skip it. Let's just skip it all together because I don't want to deal with it. It's getting messy through here. I don't want to feel that kind of way. But when you do that, you're not sitting in your emotion, and you're not healing that, and you're not allowing yourself to evolve or to learn from it. You're just moving on to the same thing. And now we have adults that are 60, 70, and 80 that are still immature because of things like this. We have children that are more mature than the adults. We have some immature children, but it's more acceptable for a child that's still being molded and stuff. But what are you molding them with? A lot of the churches don't even have youth anymore. They have lost the voice of the youth because the youth see the pastors having affairs and dealing with prostitutes and drug problems and drinking problems. And they're seeing this and they're finding out about this and they're leading to stuff. And I'm not going to call any names, but representing a drug house, a weed house, and saying, oh, this is good. It's therapeutic. They do it anyway. Let's invest in it. Let's bring it to the church. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then the kids are looking at them and saying, my parents have always taught against that, but now the pastor's for it, and they're saying it's okay now. It's good to have a relationship, but they're having illicit relationships, and they messing with all these different women, and they messing with all these different men, and they say they're a pastor, or they're a woman or man of the cloth. There's dishonesty in there. There's hurt in there. There's abuse in that when you do that. If you're in a relationship and you feel so passionate that you need to be with somebody else, then in the relationship that you're in, don't just keep jumping and doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. You don't have immaturity to know how to have a structured relationship, a mature relationship when you do that. Let's call it what it is. Y'all say, oh, he's a player or she's a player. No, that's stupidity. Because you don't know, you're using people for gain and to feel yourself and feel a certain way, or to get a certain rise about certain things. Maybe it's, sexual adventure or something like that. But however you say it, is something within them that they are feeling a need, or they're covering up something. Are they asking themselves, why am I always being pulled by all these different people and I can't commit to one relationship? I'm not here to talk about all that today, but I'm just giving you a taste of all these different things that we do. And then we say we're spiritual. I'm all love and light. I'm all love and light. I'm about the compassion. I'm walking in love. I'm in joy. How you enjoy and love and you hateful, backbiting, unforgiving? Oh, that's different. What they did is unforgivable. Is there anything that's unforgivable? So sad. We have to forgive. We expect forgiveness from others and we want people to pardon us, but we're unwilling to forgive other people. I can't let that go. And you know what? Then we're chained to that thing because we won't forgive it. I can't forgive you. I can't let that go. There have been people that have exercised such great forgiveness. They have been in situations where they have lost a family member, a friend, a spouse, or something like that. And somebody else was involved that caused that action. And they have forgave that person so they can move on in their hurt and their pain. and they have taken the time to do it in a proper way. It's not like just, oh, one time somebody says, well, I forgive everybody because they say that's what's right. You just jumping up and say, I forgive you, but not actually taking the steps to get to forgiveness where you release it out of your spirit. What is that doing? Because that's just a lie. That's lip service. When you forgive something, you let it go, and it's still not getting a rise out of you. When you talk to somebody, or you're, you see that person, you're not getting a rise, and it's not a disgust like, here they come. You just generally let it go. You might not know the cause of it. You don't have to do a study on it to figure out why that person is like that person unless you feel a need to. But understand that some need is not being met. Something had took place within that person to make them react like that. There's a reason behind it. Things just don't happen. There's a reason. But how are we ever going to educate ourselves and get to know the reasoning or why people react to certain things, or study this mind and have conversations on deeper level than talking about Instagram, what was on Instagram, a cartoon, a video game, you know what I mean? All those things is fun and stuff like that. And some of us are always on the news, but everything about the news, they watching it intently, and it's negative. It's just really negative, all the stuff, and they're taking in all that stuff, but they won't take the time to be part of something positive. Check on your neighbor. Get to know the people. Maybe they don't speak. Start something, plant a seed. Good morning, how are you doing? Be sincere to it. You want somebody to check on you if you didn't have anybody else. But some of you might not get that because you don't give that energy off. You don't give that service off. So how do you expect to have it yourself? Maybe you might be blessed with this deal, but you should give. Not always be thinking about how you could receive and you would like to receive this. What are you giving out? I believe we are truly all sisters and brothers, whether we believe the same or not. Everybody has a rhyme and a reason here and a purpose. And when you see somebody that's wounded or hurt or something, see how you can help within your own thing. Maybe you don't have a lot of money. You have your mouth, don't you? You have your arms to offer a hug, a smile. Maybe you can talk and say, hey, how are you doing? And actually listen. They teach the people in different stores and stuff to say, hey, how you doing? When they're checking you out at the grocery store or something like that, they say, hey, how are you doing? And then the person might say, oh, I'm doing horrible today. And they say, that's good. And they keep checking because they didn't hear what you said. And they don't care. They just know that this is what we're supposed to do when somebody comes in. But then there's somebody else that might hear what you have to say, a little nitpick, and say, you know what? I'm really wishing that your day get better, or that something would change for you. You're blessing them with your words. Words have power. So don't think that just because you said that, oh, that's just like a little cliche, or what does that do? Our words bless people. That's why we speak over ourselves. That's why we make affirmations. That's how we manifest stuff. That's how we change the energy. If you would walk into a room of negative energy at work, church, a family gathering, or whatever, is all negative. If I tell you, if you just go to the side and you begin to say within yourself, maybe you say, oh man, I used to be out there, you go out there and you say, oh, it's very heavy and negative out there. I do not like it. I'm asking that atmosphere would change. I bring joy, love, and light in this room. I bring laughter. I bring a transition of that negative energy to wash out and to leave immediately and bring positivity. If you think that I'm crazy or it doesn't work like that, then do it for yourself and see how it works. Call in the angels to lighten this energy up. Use the power that you have. If you know somebody elderly, they're not your relative, maybe they're a friend, maybe they're a neighbor, maybe there's a coworker, maybe they got a report about being sick or something like that, and maybe you want to make them, you know how to cook. Now, if you know how to cook, maybe you can microwave something, or maybe you can go to a restaurant or something. But you know what I'm talking about, the gist of you bring something because they're not able to do that, or that's something else that would be a stress or worry to them. And maybe you could ask them, say, I don't know, or your diet or anything like that. I would like to help you. Would it help you if I could bring a meal over to you? Or maybe we could sit and share it together, or I could just leave it, or whatever. You know, you don't have to have a lot. You could have a little and still make that happen. Even with the high cost of food, save a little extra out of your meal. If they have a diet that's open to other things and stuff, and you know they can take it, then maybe you do that. Maybe it's a child in the neighborhood and you notice that child doesn't really, their parents are struggling with money, don't really have that. And you're going out taking your kids on an event. Maybe you have a few extra dollars or an extra ticket, or maybe it's something that's a free event. Maybe it's going to the park. It doesn't cost anything. And then you go over to the parents and ask them, is it okay if so-and-so go? We're going over to here. And, you know, we have an extra seat. If it's okay, they can come with us. You don't know what that means to that parent and to that child. You don't always have to go to somebody and say, hey, I'm praying for you. If you see a need or you're feeling pulled by something, then pray for that person. And lastly, I want to say to you guys, all these things are more proficient and helpful, and we're able to see the things that in the areas we need to work on with ourselves and help others with, because it's always a process. We should always be working on ourselves. We should always be getting new revelations and stuff like that. Stop hiding behind your pastors, your mother, your daughter, your father, and your friends and stuff. You need to know for yourself what Spirit is saying to you. You need to know. Maybe you're not a psychic, intuitive, or a prophet or whatever, but you need to quiet your mind so you could hear. And if you desire, the voice of the Lord will show up to you, whether you hear, you see, you feel, or it's a dream. You will feel that urging or that pulling or that wisdom coming to you. But when it comes to you, don't ignore it. Follow it. Don't say, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Or I'm feeling kind of crazy. Did you hear that? Or I'm getting these thoughts that just keep coming to me. Follow them. I'm talking about positive things. You've prayed for an answer, and now the answer is being given to you. Like that. Not just an auditory random voice, but it's coming to you. And now you're like, okay, this is dealing with the situation I'm in. And this is showing me a way, and it's in a high vibration. You know the difference between low vibe and high vibe. Come on now. Take that time. If you don't have the help, maybe you have the means to get them some help from somebody else, and they can't, and you intervene. Do something for somebody else. Stop being selfish. Stop only thinking of yourself. And then I'm also going to say, think of yourself and give to yourself as well. Spend time with yourself, quiet time. If you're having a problem quieting your mind, you say, I can't quiet my mind. My mind is always busy. Send me an email, send me a message. If you would like me to help you, I would love to help you with that. I would love to help you with that. And I will make the time for that. Sometimes people just need to be heard, but there's nobody to hear that was not judging them. If you need that service, I offer that service as well. I will listen to you, and I will intervene or redirect you in the way that Spirit has given me direction to do so. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If this video means something to you, save it, like it, share it, send it to somebody else who might need it or hear it. If it fires you up and you're mad about something I said, leave that comment. I want to hear that too, because something is happening. Even if you're getting upset about what I'm saying, or you say, well, who does she think she is? I want to hear it because it's hitting a chord with you, and it's for a reason, and maybe we need to talk about it. Maybe it's something else more that I need to see. Maybe it's something else that you need to see. It doesn't mean, because we're not above the law, that we stop learning. Nobody knows everything. But when we connect with the Spirit, God, angels, our guides, ascended masters and teachers, they are connected to all that is and all that will ever be. And when we are walking in Spirit, we are connected with that too. We are a part in that oneness. And if we will allow that information to come up through us in that wisdom, we will receive. And it will better our life. It will strengthen our life. So I just pray that you have a beautiful day. I pray that you would just be blessed today. Pray that this video would bless you today, or that somebody else would bless you today, that something would put a smile on your face today. God bless you. Keep it positive. Keep on keeping on. Reach out for the help if you need it. Have an awesome time. Thank you.